Hello, guys. Welcome to Sports Kabri. I'm Rishi. We have with us Rahul and Adi. And we're going to talk today about how India managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in the fourth test.
Not
And before we
victory.
get, I mean, jaws of defeat from the jaws, snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah, it's fair only, no?
Not from
And
victory. We were going for a draw, but yeah.
bro, victory was there. It was there.
Okay,
Come on.
fair enough.
And
Sorry, huh.
of course, we are going to discuss the proceedings of the day right from Nathan Lyon and Scott Boland facing Bumrah. But before we start, I want to start in the middle because somewhere around tea, somewhere after lunch, just as tea closed by, like a bunch of friends were watching together, and one of our friends decided that we were three down. We had some runs on the board. We were quite far, but he felt confident that we would see out a draw. So he goes and posts, or he rather sends a message saying, "I feel confident to sleep. I feel," because he was in the UK, so it was late early morning for him. So he says, "I feel confident to sleep. There is no chance that we're gonna lose here. The pitch is flat. We have enough batsmen." But another friend warns that, listen, anything might happen. The last test, so much happened in the last 30 minutes. So just stay for a while. But no, this friend goes on to sleep, and 8 to 10 hours later wakes up to some pretty, let's say, shocking news. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Rahul,
Bro, the thing
how
is,
tell
so
me
we,
first,
this, like,
how did you feel going into that period of sleep? Did you get good sleep? How was it waking up and seeing the scoreline for the first time? What were your
yeah.
reactions?
So just to give context, I think this was like what, it was 4:30 or something in the morning. That's when tea ends, if you're watching in the UK. Um, and bro, like I was pretty confident because the wicket wasn't doing much for the seamers. Lion was getting a bit of turn, but I was like, it's fine. We've got enough right-handers in there. Even if one of these guys get out, like it's okay. I'm sure Nitish Reddy will do fairly decently, and he'll sort of be that guy to play Lion out. And anyways, it was not like Lion was bowling extremely well. He was bowling a lot outside off and ask, attempting Jaiswal and the Pant to drive, and they weren't. So I was like, just based on what had happened until then, I was pretty confident. I was like, let's go to sleep. Yeah, again, like just for context, we all have like a group where we discuss cricket, obviously. Bro, I woke
In
up in the
that group,
morning.
who warned you? Who warned you that something, there's always a
Yeah, I know
possibility of
you
something?
said it. I was pretty confident, but then bro, the thing is, when I woke up, there were 700 messages. Now, when there are 700 messages, there's something that's happened, like that has gone down like mad, or I don't know, India has won the game or something. There's only two possible scenarios. It's definitely not a draw when you wake up to something like that, right? So first thing I was so usually what I do is I actually, when I wake up in the morning, because I don't want to know what has happened in the last session, I don't open my phone. I don't open and check CricBuzz. I take my laptop first and watch the highlights so that I don't know
Hmm.
what has happened.
Hmm.
But today I was pretty confident it's a draw. That's why I opened my phone. Otherwise, I wouldn't have opened my phone. I'd watch the highlights and then open my phone. But then I opened my phone and I was like, bro, what is this? Why are there so many messages? Then I was like, oh man, have Jaiswal and Pant done it or whatever? And then dude, like just I don't even know what to say because what they put on 20-30 runs. That's it in the last session to lose the rest of the
We were
side.
some 120 for three, and then we got all out for 155.
Yeah, that's shocking, especially how Jaiswal was going. Because I thought it was a big innings from Jaiswal like coming because the first session, start to Jaiswal, he was unplayable. Like the amount of luck Jaiswal had, I think in that entire period where he played and missed so many times, I thought, bro, he's in for a big score. He's going to see this through. And Pant was very good, I think, until that point. Like Pant barely played at anything that was outside off. He was very responsible. It was a completely like different thing to what happened last time. I mean, the previous innings. So I was pretty confident with the way Pant was batting, and Jaiswal honestly had it going for him. Like the luck was going for him, everything was going in his favor. It looked like we are going to see out the game. I don't think there was ever a chance of a win, especially in the last session. They needed more than 200 runs. I don't think like that. You can't score more than that. You had needed to score six and a half or something. which was just almost impossible. Uh, on a day five wicket. So yeah, I mean, given every bro, I don't even know, man. Like I was so disappointed and and then I saw watched the highlights and I saw Rishabh Pant's wicket and I was like, brother, are you serious right now? Same with Jaiswal, unnecessary pull, doesn't need to play it at all. And dude, you just feel let down like more than anything. Like today, I went on. I mean, I watched a bunch of cricket content today. Watched Crickbuzz live that Harsha Bhogle and Dinesh Karthik do. And today, Harsha Bhogle is disappointed with Rishabh Pant's shot. But you weren't in the first innings. Like I don't understand. Like how is that? Like how does that even work? You're backing him when he's
I
basically
was
done the
telling,
same thing.
right? Did he say something like today is not stupid or something like that
He
Yeah. No,
said
I mean he
no
said
no
so far
today.
he has
during
not been
commentary?
stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was like pretty surprised. I was like, bro, he's done the
I
same
feel
thing.
like it was more like he was disappointed in that action. I mean, the point is, I think we all felt like Rishabh Pant is playing well. Even you would have thought the same thing, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
then one
No,
Nathan Lyon short ball, and then he just smacks it.
I think it was Travis Head. It wasn't even Nathan
Travis
Lyon.
Head.
And
It was
that's the
Travis
thing
Head.
Oh,
with
sorry,
bro,
yeah, it
like
was Travis Head.
The half
bro, the
backer
thing
from
is,
Travis Head.
and the dude, like the issue is, bro, like you can't say that scoop was fine, and now you're playing a shot in front of the wicket. That's not. It's still the same thing, dude. Like this, it's the same level of sort of brain fade that has happened. You didn't have to do that. It was nothing. You know you can't win the game. It's almost impossible to win the game from there. And yeah, man, just I don't know, bro. Like when you have to take some responsibility, and Dinesh Karthik said it well. He said, dude, like you have to play the situation in Test cricket. Like there's no matter what kind of batsman you are, no matter who you are, if the team demands it, like you have to play the situation. There's no other way. Have you can't just say I play this way and this is all I'm going to do. Like sometimes the situation demands you to play a certain way. You have to do it. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're Chris Gale, if you're um, Rishabh Pant, if you're I don't know Ben Duckett. When you have to block, you have to block. There is no other there's no other way about it. And yeah, bro, it was very disappointing and it's extremely shocking because now our chances of the WTC is gone, and we have hopefully a chance to retain the BGT, and we only do that if we win in Sydney. And with the way like things are going right now, how are we going to do any of that? Like, and even to the start, I just want to go back to the start of the day. When the first session again let down because Rohit Sharma, I'm want to say Rohit Sharma started well. He started very well. The first half an hour that Rohit Sharma played was probably the best half an hour I've seen from Rohit Sharma in this entire series. Same with, I mean, Jaiswal. I think was very lucky because he flashed at a bunch, dude. Like very lucky not to nick any of those from Stark. Stark was brilliant. And after that,
FYI, after you slept, nothing changed because he kept going at it for Nathan Lyon also. Anything that was marginally short, he kept going at it. There was no change. Like everyone was thinking, dude, it's only a matter of time before you catch one of these because like a person has only a certain amount of luck. The way he was just slashing at everything was just too wild. But yeah, go on.
yeah, yeah. I mean, no, like, but again, I go back to the seniors, bro. Like Rohit Sharma, I can't even remember how he got dismissed. Actually, you know what? But yeah,
It went to Mitch Marsh. He held on.
oh yeah,
There
yeah,
was
yeah.
an
Oh
outside off
brother, he
edge.
should be playing that with a straight bat. He's going across it. Like terrible shot selection again. Was very good until that point. Like Rohit Sharma, like he was playing well. He looked like he was timing it very well. And then I don't know what was the necessity. Why did you have to go flashy like all of that? Like, eh, yeah, man. Nitish Reddy has more boundaries and Rohit has runs in this series. That's incredible. Like that's shocking. That's I think yeah, Bumrah has more wickets than Rohit's average or something like that. I mean, like bro, like it's insane. And yeah, it's I mean just going to add to that point, yeah, man. Like this is just where we stand. Um, Rohit Sharma's average this year is 24, but and it has been shocking in this series itself. He averages something like 6 or 7. I don't even know. And
It's five or something, if I'm not wrong.
bro, but
And
whatever it is, like it's
Average.
crazy. You're
Average.
averaging, and dude,
Dude, if you stay not out, I know it's not easy. You stay not out, you can make up for your average. Like it masks a lot of things. You don't even have to score runs consistently. And even that, even despite that, 5 or 6, yeah.
Bro, and Virat Kohli, bro, again, I don't know what to say. Like, you were looking good. He was looking very good. I thought Virat Kohli, like, he was leaving anything on fourth, even fourth stump, he was leaving. And he was leaving very well. He's dished one out on sixth stump, dude. Like, that was a terrible ball from Stark. He's not getting you out at all. You're looking great. Like, he's going and he's talking to Jaiswal, making sure that Jaiswal is also like has his head there in the game. He's doing everything right. And I was so impressed with Virat Kohli in the field yesterday. I was like, bro, like we might just see something different from Virat Kohli because he looks like he's in a different zone. And he's done the same thing again. At what point are we going to say, brother, it's clearly a mental issue, and if you're not willing to rectify it, like you have to face some consequence. How many times are we going to be like it's okay for you to play it? It's the same thing. It's not like that. Nothing has changed. It's
I'll
the
give you a
same
stat.
discussion again.
I'm gonna give you a stat that was quite interesting. Out of the last 33 times that he got out, 16 of the, I mean, I think last 33 or 34, I think 25 or 26 were to Pacers, out of which 16 were to Pacers getting nicked and getting caught behind the wicket.
Hmm.
Like, dude, like if you're telling me that is not worrying, I don't agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
it's not even funny. It's not even like ironic. It's not even a matter of that's the way he plays. It's just, bro, then you need to question the way you're playing. Because if you are putting up a blueprint of how to get you out, and the Australians are not trying anything. They're not bowling at his pads. They are not bowling at the stumps because his technique when it comes to playing the balls that are on the wicket are perfect. It is imperious. He flicks it comfortably. He hooks. He pulls. It's all perfect. And they're not even going to bother doing it. It was Josh Hazelwood. It was Scott Boland. They were just waiting for him. And then this time, he was actually diligently leaving everything until that one loose ball. And even the Aussie commentators, they were saying if Stark bowls that to anyone else, with the length that he bowled it over pitched, they're collecting it from the boundary. And for him to dish that out and find himself losing his wicket, I don't know what to say. I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's not just a Virat issue. It is a Virat issue, but it's not just a Virat issue. It's Rohit, it's Pant, it's their seriousness, it's their commitment. It's a deep problem. It's a deep
You
lying
know,
problem. It's not
even
simple.
Rohit, I think to an extent looked determined, dude. Like I have to give that to him. He looked way more determined than he was throughout the series. But I don't know what it is. And there's a point where like there's no. Is it because you're playing too much short form cricket that you almost instinctively play a stroke after a certain point? Is it that we're not used to playing enough tests? Bro, like Labuschagne, like of course he got lucky, but really I thought was very good yesterday. I thought like even though he got a little lucky, I thought his innings, just in terms of approach, was great. Was he made sure anything outside off he didn't touch. If it is going to come inside and hit his body, he took the blows. Every single blow. And yeah, man, I don't know. Sayonara saying feel Abhimanyu Ishwaran or Sai Sudarshan could replace Rohit in the team moving forward. But who do you guys think will be our number 4 going forward? I think first of all, like Shubman Gill, there's a conversation to be had about him. So Gill, Jaiswal, and KL will probably be your top 3. I don't think there's a place yet for either of them. But I don't know, man. Like number 4
There's Dhruv
is
Jurel also waiting in line.
yeah, Dhruv Jurel potentially,
Probably
and
higher than both of them in the pecking order.
yeah, you guys think? I mean, I don't see them dropping Virat Kohli anytime soon, but I think there's a conversation definitely to be had about Rohit. But yeah, what happens to Virat and Rohit after the series?
Uh,
Adi?
See, for me, again, I think we have to again speak about yesterday first because actually we didn't speak about what happened yesterday, how the bowlers almost got India in a very very good position yesterday. what were they? They were like 95 for six, if I'm not wrong, at a point of time. And then it was Labuschagne and Cummins who started batting. And then we know what happened after that, right? So I think that's the first place where we have to go back. I think it's more than just one player. I think at the end of the day, if you're only going to blame Rohit Virat, it doesn't make sense, bro. Because I have to look at the Australian team. Me, honestly, I don't. I still right now, if you look at both the teams, India and Australia, I think Australia are a much better. I mean, India have a much better batting lineup than Australia do. I also do believe that Indian players, just each profile you get, they have certain skill sets that no other team in the world has, for example. But as I said before, Test match is all about discipline, and I think it is the implementation of certain discipline has not been there this entire series, especially batting, even bowling, to be honest. But firstly, batting. Secondly, the mentality and that urge, as you said, no, Rahul, like today was the first time Rohit. See, I didn't watch the first session, but as you guys are saying, like Rohit had that urge to play a bit more, and he stayed for 55 balls, if I'm not wrong. He scored 9 runs, but he stayed for 55 balls, which was something more than he's done the entire series as a whole. It shows that in Test cricket, if you just put that discipline, if you want to grind it out, the runs will come. I just take you guys back to Labuschagne. Like we know Labuschagne is not in the best of form. He's not playing well in terms of his technique or his confidence. It's not there. You can see it, but he's still been able to score. Like this game, he scored 70 in both innings. Previously, he scored a lot of runs again. It comes down to discipline, bro. Like when in Test match you're not going to play well, just learn to leave the ball. If you don't have to play shots, that's a luxury you get in Test match. You don't have to even lift your bat up if you don't want to play the shot. That's something Rohit, Virat, to an extent, all the batsmen. I don't want to put only on them. Like even today, Punt, for example, Jaiswal also, in my honest opinion, I think Jaiswal also huge culprit in the way he got out. All of them, at certain situations, you don't have to put your bat. You have the luxury to just leave the ball. This is not T20 where you have to score 4 runs every 2 balls. It is not at all that situation. And it comes down to discipline. Like, in my honest opinion, if it was, I go back again. I've said it a lot of times. It goes back to the mentality of the entire batting unit as a whole. What do we want to do today? Today was the first time in this entire series, all the five Indian batters. It was simple plan, bro. Like you're going into day five, you know you have to score what 340 odd runs. It's two things. Do you want to chase that to 340, or do you not want to chase it and play out a draw? I feel like India didn't do either one of them. Like in the beginning, it seemed like they wanted to play out a draw because they were scoring in the first session. They scored around 1.5 run rate, if I'm not wrong. So it looked in around 20-25 overs. So it looked like they wanted to just play a draw out. Then Rohit gets out. I think again, as you said,
I just want to say one thing like about this, okay, on the first session. Like, I don't know if they went in with the intent of wanting a draw because Jaiswal played shots. Now, the thing is, the first session was extremely tough to bat. Like, the ball was moving. Stark
the new
got the
ball,
most.
yeah.
The Stark,
No,
Stark
Stark
got
was
the
moving the
most.
ball like left,
Yeah.
right.
He got the most swing in the entire series, like even Perth included. This was the session where Stark bowled. The first session was the most swing he got throughout the series. So I think it was extremely difficult to bat. So I think the session itself put win out of the equation. It's not like even I don't think it was really in India's hands per se, but once that first hour was played, you knew India could not win the game because it was too tough. Like an hour and a half, it was very hard. And that's what makes it more irritating because Rohit and Jaiswal got through that period. And they got through that period like unscathed. Sorry, but yeah, continue, Adi.
No, as I said, like I get what you're telling in terms of did they want to win or in the beginning Jaiswal looked like he's going aggressive, but look at Rohit Sharma. He was see again. It comes down to he was struggling. I really don't think he was playing his best. He could have gotten out early. He was not able to face a short ball also to the extent he used to, but he was there to grind it out. Like you could see him putting his body there. Like that's the whole point. Because if Jaiswal's out there trying to score runs, I think even in the press conference, Rohit Sharma came out and said, the intent is to always win. We wanted to win, etc., etc., etc. Fair enough. Like, but that's my point. At the end of the day, when we realistically look at India, they have to win this game and the next game. Like, if you look at the bigger picture with the World Test Championship final, India have no other choice. They had to win today and this test, last test, this test, and next test, right? Because if India won this test and next test, they would have been in the finals. So the fact is, we had to win. Whatever. Yesterday, we know what happened yesterday. Those drop catches cost a lot. Dropping Labuschagne and, who else was it? Boland, if I'm not wrong.
No, they dropped
Cummins.
Siraj dropped this guy Lion like just straight back.
Yeah, like
And
a lot of four drop catches yesterday.
again
Yeah,
in bat pad.
yeah. I mean, it was. I think Jaiswal. I just want again like we're on the drop catches. While I think like it's very harsh to like really criticize Yashasvi for the first couple of catches, the first one I thought was very tough. The one at
Which
The
Gully.
one?
Khwaja one
That
was
was
nobody
it was literally
like
in his
nobody
hand, Rahul.
had
It
a
was in
No,
his
it went to
hand.
his hand, dude. But the thing is, like, you don't really see the ball until it was a very short leg gully
Ah,
because
bro, come on.
I
Like
no no
I
I
think Mixed
no no
Marsh, the
no
catch he took was way tougher. It is not even coming towards him, it's coming away. It was like this. Is
no.
this
I'm
coming
not
to your hand?
saying
You're
like
supposed to be
I'm
catching
not
Bro,
the ball.
saying
Mitch,
that it
like
was
Mitch
easier or
Marsh is
tougher.
a freak fielder in the sense that
Yeah.
like he's huge, and I don't think I've seen bigger buckets than him. Like he has huge
But
hands. Like it's
Rishi,
it's
but you
like
had
he's
to
that guy
even
pulled with
No,
a
no, no.
baseball
I think
like
no,
baseball
dude.
glove.
The one Labuschagne catch that he dropped was no excuses at all. But I'm saying the first one, I thought was a little harsh because it's one of those positions where you don't know, like you can't even see the ball. You don't know where it's leaving the bat. It just comes to you, and he was short leg gully. It was like, but anyways, either ways, I thought the third one was the worst of the lot because you don't do the basic thing that is required from a bat pad, which is to stay low,
No,
and
that
he
is
didn't
that
do
is
that.
like the minimum requirement. Like everyone does it. Like even today, Sam Constas was almost on the floor. Travis Head, whenever he's there on bat pad, he is literally hugging the floor. He's almost like the
Yeah,
keeper. He's like
yeah.
as low as the keeper. And Rishabh Pant repeatedly said niche re, and he's always like it's been an issue. Like whenever the spinners bowl, like it's almost simultaneous that Rishabh Pant keeps saying niche re to him, and eventually
bro,
it
but
one is.
again, one thing when you guys say that, don't you think it's the captain's responsibility if he sees
He was
Jaiswal not.
told, bro. Like, yeah,
No, no,
don't
no.
think
My
he
point is not
said.
about telling. My point is, see, that's the thing. Like me as a captain, if I'm looking at my player, if I have to say it every over, sit down, and he's still not doing it, don't you think the intuition is okay? He's not going to listen. Let me change and get someone else there. Because I think
Yeah,
if they
could
got
be like,
someone else
yeah. I
there,
mean, yeah. In an
like
ideal world, yeah. I
that's
guess.
my
I
point.
think that's
Because
fair.
for me, Jaiswal never stands there first of all. Like I think it was always Sarfaraz, Jurel, to an
No, I
extent,
mean,
No,
even Jaggu at
Jaiswal was
times.
there first,
Pujara,
right?
like for
And
the
then
longest
like
time
it
when
used to be KL to an extent because after
KL also.
the
No, no, I'm saying
final
like the recent series we played,
they
right?
got
Like
back to KL
exactly.
also.
You could have put someone like K, like, bro, I don't see. I know this is too harsh on Rohit, and I don't want to be that guy. But I think it comes down to, as a captain, you have to be intuitive, right? Like, I feel like if it was Cummins, he would have put the right person there. For example, that's just my opinion. Like, you
Bro,
have Sam
Adi,
Constas.
you are
No, but
Yeah,
this is
100%
also an
right because Pat Cummins he himself did that. He himself
exactly.
like when Nathan I was
bro.
bowling, he himself wore the helmet and
I
pads
think
and
this
came and
even
stood
Bro,
there in the
that's what
front.
one thing I was thinking today. I was like, everyone's putting on Jaiswal. I was like, okay, fair. But if I was a captain, if my player is not comfortable there, like if no one wants to do it, let me go do it. If I know I can do it there, why not just stand there?
No,
Like
the thing is,
again,
it's
it
an Indian team culture issue. This short leg and silly point thing. If you notice, like over the years, it's not just this. You always go to the sort of the junior most player and ask him to field there.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing that has happened. It's not like
You
it's
don't
just
keep
a
a
thing.
specialist fielder there. It's
You
like for us,
never
it's like
you
a seniority
yeah
thing.
yeah, and it's
see
a
again. I don't know if that's an Indian thing. Again, bro. Even today, to be fair, Constas was also there for at a point of time. Head was there. It comes down to, for me, it's like these
no
small moments. It
yeah.
is more about margins, bro. Like, bro, I come back to see. I feel like for cricket, at least, you need a bold captain everywhere. Like, you need a captain who's thinking 24/7 in the game. Like, that's what I come down to. Like, I think we can talk about captaincy later, but I just want to put this point. Like, you look at Cummins today, bro. Like, he took responsibility in all three forms. Like, as a fielder, as a batsman, and yesterday as a batsman, and today as a bowler. Like, you look at Cummins, the way he captains, it's 100% energy every ball. And I look at, again, with the Indian captain, it is like Jaiswal drops a catch. First of all, if you want to go back to the first catch which he dropped,
Oh yeah, I was very disappointed with his
I
reaction, bro.
was
I
so
was
because
very disappointed
we
with him.
never know. Maybe that's why it also affected him the entire this
No,
thing because you
100%, bro.
can
Like that's
his
true.
confidence was dead, Rahul, after that. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I could see the change in his face. Like Jaiswal, like he looked a bit nervy. I could see it. Now I don't know if it's because captain just shouted or he himself felt bad about it. Whatever it is, I don't want to get in too deep. But when I see a captain just shouting and throwing his hands like that, and then you have Virat next to him, at least he was a bit nice. He was like
Yeah.
patting his back, etc. Bumrah should be if Bumrah did it, fair enough. The frustration as a bowler, it comes instantly. I get it, but when a captain is there shouting, I felt bad about that. And like as a captain, if you're there sitting and encouraging a young player, I think it would help. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if it would have helped or not, but for me at least the mentality should be there. It's okay, make mistake, but we're here to correct it, and we can. You have
Yeah.
another chance to correct it. I don't think I see that mentality enough.
That's true. That's true. Again, this one felt sorry for Bumrah at one point. Talking to Rohit over stomach, that he can't bowl anymore. Huge workload on him. I mean, yeah, bro. Like he's bowled so. I think he bowled so many overs yesterday. If he's doing bulk of the work of the top order, he needs help from someone, dude. Like to clean up the tail. Like I thought Siraj was good yesterday, but again, it was not like he bowled in beautiful deliveries to get anybody. Again, it was like the Kohli dismissal. I think the one that he got Smith with was kind of he just put it out there and he's played it. But Siraj was good. I Akashdeep, I don't know, bro. Is it luck anymore? Is it what are we saying? I mean, he could have got Labuschagne quite easily in the end, but that didn't happen because of the drop catch to Jaiswal. There's just not enough help, bro, for from the other seamers for Bumrah, and I'm scared. Like now going into Sydney, whether he's going to be at full tilt.
Dude,
It's not a long turnaround period. It's 3 days.
the sad part is like when Bumrah came along, we had other pacers who like we had the seniors like Shami, like Ishan Sharma. Like I feel they don't are like the predecessors don't get enough credit because they were relentless. They were hitting the decks. They were good at what they do. They were great at what they do, and I feel that kind of eased Bumrah into the side. And now our dependence on Bumrah is so much that we are one injury away from being a flat side. Like I feel that's my biggest concern that if Bumrah pulls up, every time he was going to the physio, he was down, he was holding his hamstring. I was like, this is it. Because there is no other wicket source. There is no other threat. Because we've got to a point where they use like the opponents use the other players as an outlet. Like Mohammad Siraj, he might bowl one really good ball, unplayable delivery in the over, and there it's a guarantee that he's gonna give you two freebies. Akashdeep, I don't like. I felt Akashdeep did well in the first innings. He was getting a lot of nicks and he was bowling in that corridor. It just wasn't carrying. But after a while, they even figured him out in the sense they were rotating comfortably. They were motoring along comfortably. So every time Bumrah was holding up, every time Bumrah went off the field, it was like, okay, like we're this close to being a flat side with zero threat. And now that we've lost Ashwin also, like before you could just toss the ball to Ashwin and expect him to come up with a solution. Now that that
Dude,
option is also gone, like
I
our
can't tell you, bro.
dependence is just so much like it's it's good that we have a probably one of the best bowlers the world has ever seen, but at the same time, our inability to complement him with like other bowlers is just shocking at this point.
Dude, like I could not tell you how like bad I felt when we didn't have an Ashwin to turn to because when the spinners came on yesterday.
Oh, we had Washington, by the way, who only balled 3 overs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
he was
I'm just getting to
exactly.
that. I'm actually getting to that. Like, so Jadeja, you have one end, you know what you're going to get from Jadeja. Okay, I don't think I've seen the best Jadeja over the last couple of matches, even with the ball. But then you go to Washington Sundar, and now you have said that Washington Sundar is your main off spinner, like over Ashwin. Dude, it was nowhere near the quality required from Washington Sundar.
Rahul, but
That
he didn't get a chance to ball though. Like,
No,
if you look
even
at
if
it, he didn't get a
are they
chance to
like
ball.
okay, see, when you bowl a couple of overs, at least like there's certain signs that you see and you say that okay, you know what, he's getting into his spell. Washington Sundar is not anywhere near the quality that Ashwin is. I'm not blaming Washington
I
for it,
agree. Like,
and
see,
I
I know
think
what you're trying to say.
yeah management problem. That's
But it's not even a management problem. But again, you want to talk about that fair, but like today they got him in for the series in the sense of they wanted an extra option for spinner. They wanted to use him as in certain conditions and make him ball a lot. That was mainly why they got him in. First innings fair, they use around 13 overs for him. Second innings, when yesterday you could have put the pressure by, example, you put two Jadejas and Nathan Lyons. I mean, sorry, Jadeja and Washington. From one side of each end.
on both ends.
You don't know because like I could see Lyon playing the pace very easily, and so was the other. Even bowling to an extent, they stayed for 100 and what 100 120 balls as a 10th wicket partnership. You could have used Washington more, at least in the end time when you see the way Cummins utilized Lyon today. There was not much spin on the track, but he still was brave enough to use it. And also the field setting they used for for Nathan Lyon today, you could see like they were ready to put pressure on the batsman. And again, bro, like if you're getting in Washington Sundar and you're dropping an entire a proper batsman, you have to at least use him. Like you back him for what you get him in. I don't think they backed him for what they got him in for. Like primarily he was used as a number 8. Like that's what they used him for. They didn't use his batting enough. I mean, first innings fair enough, but enough. And they didn't use him at bowling at all to like especially in the second innings, it just you didn't use him. And he kept going to Bumrah the entire time. Like Bumrah says, right? Like he literally said, I can't ball and they still kept going towards him. So like again, it's like can the captain be creative enough to like get wickets in other way, or is it only like ball the same thing and just wait for the wicket to come?
Yeah, it's. So I don't even know. It's we're looking for answers. Shami not declared fit apparently, so he's not going to be coming into Sydney
But to
anyway.
be fair, I actually feel like yesterday was the first day where like
No, the bowlers
the
did well
entire
yesterday.
series
I think.
until like when Labuschagne came and like neutralize it, I think they bowled very well. Like I really can't flaw them. I mean, fault them. Like even Siraj was bowling pretty well the entire time. So I don't know. I feel like it's harsh, bro. Even with Akash Deep, I think he's deserved enough wickets this entire series where he's not been able to get them.
No, I think yeah,
Like,
I think Akash has been. You're right. Like, I think Akash has been unlucky, and yesterday we were good with the ball. I just think we need some more help, bro. Like little bit help to clean the tail up. Like 50 runs, Chuma we gave. Like unnecessary 50 runs, 60 runs in towards the end. Like
but
There is
that's the
nobody
problem. I feel like that 50,
trying
60 runs
to run
came through like drop catches, bro. I feel like that's where you can actually blame it at. Like 4 drop catches is a lot in a test in one day. Like especially
mm,
all of them were important wickets. You can't like Labuschagne. He got so lucky yesterday to an extent. Like a drop catch, even that I don't know how that ball missed the stump where it was an inside edge on
Gone
Akash.
bounce.
yeah, yeah.
Like it was a bit of I can't help it. Like, but say it was they were very unlucky. Even with Cummins, right? Like the drop catch of Jaiswal, like you can't help it. But I feel like that's where we lost like 80 runs easily. Labuschagne, Cummins, and then the last 2 wickets. But again, bro, like with the batting today, I think is the main issue because going back to that, I'm kind of tired. But if we speak about today, it was as I said before, like what's the game plan? Are we going to survive today or going to go chase a target? It's too simple game plan. Like it's just black and white. Indian team knows what's the thing. Like even if we don't win today, let's go win next test match, right? The problem is they didn't do either of them. Like they didn't look like they were going to chase. They didn't look like they wanted to stay out the entire day. Like you go back to, I feel like even KL to an extent, he got unlucky with their defense. But then Kohli comes, he goes chasing shots where you don't have to chase those shots at all. Like this is the one time where we didn't need a century from Kohli. We just needed a 20 runs of 200 balls. So everyone would have been like, it's more worth more than your century, in the first game. Even with punt, bro, like you can score 30 or 500 balls. Like nobody cares. Like just stay there. I think it's with every single batsman, and they had no discipline. It comes back to that. Like even with punt, like I don't want to be the guy, but I'm like, okay, you are looking to chase and hit the short ball, fair. But like in the first innings, I would have been like, bro, he's playing his game. But today, it's like the situation. If you want to draw it, just don't go play those shots. Like it was not necessary. It was not needed at all. And he still went chasing. Even with Jaiswal, it was a wide ball, bro. It was a wide short ball. Like There was no need to go chase that, and he got out. I can't tell anything else. And also, do you guys think that was out, or like what's your opinion about that? Because like there's a lot of
I think it
commotion
was out,
on.
bro. I mean, like, I think the most basic thing is um you trust the eye. If there's a deflection, it's out. Like, I think that's one of the most basic things like you can do. Now, Snicko obviously will not work 100% every single time, and we've seen that throughout. Like, we know technology is not reliable 100%. So yeah, I think if basic deflection is there, it can't just randomly deflect, no? Like, so it must have hit something. So I think that's
Optical illusion, bro. It's an optical
believe.
illusion.
I
You
mean,
need
I
to
don't
be
know.
you need to be
Bro,
careful.
there were
There was
three
Sometimes your
congestion
eyes
and all
get
that.
strict.
controversial decisions apparently. One from the Aussie end about the Jaiswal LBW, which again, the Aussies traditionally have a problem with Joel Wilson in the sense that he didn't give that 2019 Test Ashes Test wicket for who was it? I think Ben Stokes, and since then they've had an issue with Joel Wilson. But again, if it's 51%, if it's 49%, if the ball is only partially hitting the wicket, it's the umpire's call. You just stick by it. Like Michael Vaughan literally explained to you guys as to when the whole Kohli thing happened, as to why it's the umpire's call. Like you have to ultimately respect that it's the umpire's call and move on. Even though to be fair, it did look like about half the ball was hitting the wicket. Like I mean, it's not like
Wait,
you
what
or
are
I.
you talking about?
The Jaiswal LBW, there's an LBW appeal.
I thought you were talking about the caught behind.
No, bro, caught behind, I'll get to it. But this was just before that. This is because the
Yeah.
Australian fans seem to have a lot of problem with that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
at the end of the day, if it's hitting the wicket and if it's an umpire's call, it is umpire's call. What can you do about it? You
Yeah,
just
it's
stick
fun.
with your
Yeah.
on-field decision. And bro, like you said, like it's not like it's a sponge ball where it's just gonna feel some air and gonna change its trajectory. Like you have multiple angles. So from the front on, you can see that the ball is going here, and then suddenly it's changing its direction. And from the front on, you can see that the ball is spinning differently. Like the spin that it had after hitting the ground was different from after it left the bat. So you have two, and the third, from the side view, you could see that it couldn't have hit anything else but the bat or glove, both of which are out. So you don't necessarily need, like, this is one of the places where you don't need to rely on technology. You're never supposed to rely on technology for umpiring or decision. Otherwise you don't even need umpires. You can just automate everything and get decisions. Why do you need an umpire in the first place? The fact is
Um.
they are ultimately experts of the game. Like they'll have a better judgment than like normal, like every Tom and Harry that who watches the game. And which was the third one? The one was the Edge, and the other one,
Akashdeep.
Akashdeep. Yeah, bro. The Snicko moved, and there was a mark of the red ball from the
Ball.
on
Yeah,
the.
there was a mark on the ball on the bat. Like, I don't know how much more can it conclusive can it get than that?
Bro, like the kind of this one that even people in India are saying, like, you need to be like, ICC needs to investigate it. Like Rajiv Shukla came out and told it needs to be investigated. Bro, investigation is over. Like I can present the report now if needed. Like there are pictures, there are evidences. What more are you saying? Just don't chuma blame it on, like, just own up. If you did something, if our boys did something wrong, just own up. There's nothing wrong in admitting. You don't have to deflect it anyways. Like so much also.
Yeah, just a reminder of what was actually needed. Hanuma Vihari and Ravi Ashwin last year in Sydney, bro. 23 of 161 and 39 of 128. Isn't this what was needed? But we chose to play flashy and
Bro, like again, this like Rao, like this. I'm sorry to interrupt. This Ashwin is not
yeah.
a traditional batter.
He's
He's a
not,
bowling
exactly.
all-rounder
And
who
Ashwin when he
can
bats is an attacking batter, just to put it out there.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and it's not like Ashwin comes out with the intent of, like, removing the shine of the ball so that the middle order can bat. He's not a Pujara like that. He comes in, and if he can play 39 of 128, he's not even that technically gifted. He's not a specialist batter. He is a bowler who can offer something with the bat. If he can do this, if he has the maturity to take it on the chin, take it on the shoulder, take it on the hip, take it on the back for the team, because he knows that is going to get the team across the line. I don't understand why the so-called specialist batters can own up and be like, you know what, I might be an attacking batter, but if this is what the team needs me, I'm gonna put my ego aside. I'm gonna put my mental battle aside and focus on what my team needs me to do. Because what is the point? Like, okay, I hit a six, fine. Are we even going to win the game? No. At that point, we were 5 and over. Like, this is exactly the reason why, like, Australia didn't declare at the end of yesterday, because there was a lot of debate as to whether they should have declared by the end of the day. I felt it was brilliant from Australia because they just took out a possibility of Australia losing. We never had enough time, and with the batsmen, with the form that batsmen are in, there was never enough time for like us to chase it down. We were always 4.5, 5 runs and over away. So
Yeah.
there was never a question of us wanting to chase it down. Even if we did, it should have had come from our top order. Once we
Yeah.
lose 3, 4 wickets, that ship has sailed. So what is the next best thing? You kill the balls. And it is shown before that, like, in multiple tests, that if we just hold our patience, these bowlers are old. The Australian bowlers are not young. They are old bowlers. Once Stark bowls 10 overs, he starts holding his back. Once Cummins bowls like 10, 15, his, like, he's also, his pace comes down 10 clicks. And there's only Boland and Nathan Lyon. If there's no support from the other end, he can be managed. So it's all about mental battle. It's all about, if you can show that, I am ready to out last you guys, then it was pretty much there. It's just our batsmen wanted to play for the pictures. Our batsmen, I don't know what they wanted to play, but
Bro,
it's a
but
collective. They're
again,
not even playing.
sorry to interrupt, but like, bro, you're saying our batsmen wanted to play, but again, like for example, if you put the same situation with Australia today, do you guys think they would have played the same shot as like the Indian batsmen did today,
No, they
for
No,
won't.
example?
I for one,
But
I don't believe for a second that someone like Labuschagne or Smith are going to do what Yashasvi Jaiswal or Rishabh Pant did, or to an extent, even
100%.
what Virat Kohli did, where they're going to chase
but
and find ways to get out.
even with that, like for example, even they got Smith, Labuschagne because they have the discipline. But for someone like their openers, like who let's take
Khwaja
out
also.
Constas because he's played like very less for us to see what he is. Like if it was McSweeney and if it was Kavaja also, do you think they would have had, even if they would have gotten now to a beauty, whatever it is, do you think they would have had the discipline to be like, let's not play the
Yeah,
outside
I
off
think
balls, let's
Khwaja
With
not play the
does,
Sweeney,
short
bro.
balls?
I've seen it time and time again
what
from
I've
Khwaja.
seen, definitely, because McSweeney never looked, he never got out trying
And
to
yeah,
hit.
McSweeney also.
He got out to brilliant balls from Bumrah, which I felt, again, Bumrah was just having the time of his life, where anything that came out of his hand was turning into a wicket. Like, that's one thing I felt bad, that McSweeney's, and it just happened that Constance also seemed to be doing everything right. I feel McSweeney is going to be overlooked for quite some time now, unless they
I think
choose
he
to.
can play for Marsh, bro, honestly.
No, I think he's going to come in because
If
Khwaja is
Yeah,
going
if
to retire.
Khwaja retires, it's gonna be
Yeah,
like,
so
I sincerely hope it's McSweeney and Constance, because I
He's
still
not
see
an
room for
opener, by the way. He actually doesn't
he's a
open, so
number
it was
four
actually a
batter,
not.
but like
he's a number four batter. But
so if
again,
they want him to
assuming
open,
Labuschagne is still 30, so you're gonna get at least another 4, 5, 6 years, good years from him.
yeah. A lot of
Yeah, I
murmurs
think,
about Smith and his retirement actually. Like apparently
bro, the
Smith
way he's
himself
playing now,
might
it
just
looks like finally after all these years, it looked like he's finally found his hands. So what to do?
mm, true. But yeah, bro, it's just a weird one. Like, like this whole I was very like feeling I was very this like really let down, dude, like by the Indian team yesterday, like over this course of this test match. Because this was one of those wickets and venues where we could have easily gotten a result. And with the way, bro, I have to tell you, like Bumrah's spell yesterday on day four is probably the best bowling like I've seen for a long time, like in Test cricket, bro. He was brilliant. Like, and for him, after all of that, if you don't get support from your batters, like at all, it really hurts, bro. Like, and it really disappoints, especially when you have got like all these guys, Rishabh Pant, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, not supporting him when he is. If you if there was a highlights package of that spell from Bumrah to McSweeney and Khwaja yesterday, jeez, bro, like anyone would be like, yeah, bro, I'm going to pay this guy how much ever you come and play for me. Like, and during that spell, I was even, so they were joking on commentary and saying how they could keep bowling Bumrah. And Michael Vaughan was like, I'll just keep bowling him till he dies. And then I think it was Marco who said, we're also trying to figure out a way for him to bowl for us in the next innings. Bro, he was unplayable. Like, It's just sad, bro. Like I just wish we could have produced something out of this game. At least a draw would have really had filled us with a lot of hope. But it is what it is. What are we expecting for Sydney? You guys think this team will bounce back?
Does it matter?
I mean, at least to retain the trophy.
Uh, I don't know, but it depends on how Australia are. I feel like it depends on more how Australia are feeling that day. Maybe they might end up playing for a draw. Maybe, we'll have to see how they're going to go
Mm.
upon that game. But I feel like it's easier for them to, play now because there is no pressure anymore. It's either you draw the game, you win the game, and you draw the series, whatever it is. I don't think there is much pressure coming into it because I think even the fans, everyone are going to be bad mood in terms of at least pessimistic mood in terms of okay, it's very tough to go to the World Test Championship final, even tough to win or retain the BGT for the matter of fact, right? So I think it's lesser pressure right now on the Indian team. I feel like that's when I think like players like Kohli, Rohit Sharma will play a bit more better. I would expect that at least minimum.
Mm.
But I feel like it's more about how Australia want to play the game. I think for them it's still they have to win if I'm not wrong because they still have two away games
Yeah,
to
they
Sri
still have to
Lanka,
play
where
Sri Lanka
which
twice.
is not an easy tour for
Yeah.
them also.
Rishi?
So I think there's a lot of factors, bro. Again, what changes from this test to next test, right? Like it's just the stadium, it's just the conditions, nothing else.
Yeah.
It's just more of is the captain, is the management, batting unit, bowling unit, and as a team serious enough to like scrutinize certain things and change certain things. Even with bowling, I still feel like there needs to be a discipline in the bowling to an extent, but it's very tough to ask that also because I feel like this entire pitch was a batting friendly pitch. It didn't change also much all 5 days. It remained the same, and they did very well for the conditions they had. And then you go look at the batsmen, the very batting friendly pitch. It was in the first innings. There was only two players who batted responsibly, like Nitish and Jaiswal. And the second innings, it was almost just Jaiswal. And you look at the entire series, the trend has been three players who've been playing for India, batting especially. It's either Jaiswal, it's either KL Rahul, or it's either Nitish. Like the rest have been below par. And again, as I've said, we've always said it's about discipline, it's about the mentality. Do you want to stay today and bat for the day? So if that changes, if because of the fact that okay, there's less mental pressure around these stuff, I think I wouldn't be surprised if I see something different from them. But also like it depends on how they want to
Mm.
go at that game.
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of what the WTC final will look like, at the moment it looks very tough for India because India have to win and then hope that Australia lose both games or something like that. And even then,
No,
I'm
no,
not
no. If
sure.
it's 1-0 or 2-0, it's fine. As long as they don't win both.
Okay, so
Oh, what?
Like, as long as they don't win both the games, it's fine. Like, if we win the Sydney test
we have
and
to win the
Australia
Sydney
can't
test.
win, and if Australia win both their tests in Sri Lanka, then they are through.
Australia are above us. They're
Yeah,
second in
yeah,
the table.
Correct. So
yeah,
now
yeah.
if we beat them, but they
We'll
still
still
have two more
be
tests.
below them.
No, for the
Yeah,
time being, no, for the time being, if like the scenario after the BGT, if we win the Sydney test, is we go through. But
No, no, no,
if
no, no.
no, I don't
yeah,
think
Before
yeah,
so.
this test also, we were above them, Rishi. We were above them
once.
before this test also. And this is like a 2% difference in the winning percentage, if I'm not wrong.
One
It's
second.
like 58 versus 56 or something like that. We were third. That's why I kept saying to you guys, like, we have no other choice because India were third coming into the
No, we were third.
Melbourne
Like
test.
a draw for us, a draw and a win would have done like well.
We would have still been third, Rahul. That's my
No,
point.
we won't have because dude, the
Okay,
amount that
so
yours increases, theirs will
Oh,
go
yeah.
down.
I
so
mean,
the
a draw
so the
today, and you're
official
saying,
Yeah.
scenario is
yeah, that would have
uh,
made.
India's qualification scenario is so we have to win the SEG test. So
Yeah.
after we win the SEG test, Sri Lanka has to beat Australia 1-0 or 2-0.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So Australia can't win another game. That's the
Yeah.
point. If they win any games there, we're cooked. That's it.
No, but if Australia beat us next game, they're through regardless.
Huh,
Yeah, if
Australia beat us,
Australia beat
then bro,
us,
then there's no
then
conversation. We have to win. We have to win. There's no
correct.
doubt about it.
Hmm.
That's a given.
For
Like
us, it's an uphill battle, and bro, like honestly, if we don't see much changes, like because bro, this game was something which, if not win, of course, win is a bit of a stretch, but this was a dead-on draw, bro. Unless we outright went out of our way to find a way to lose, we should have drawn this game. And since on such a big
Actually, we
occasion,
should. I mean, I think India could have won this game
We could
yesterday,
have won
but
the game. Like really,
like see, if
if
we
Jaiswal
got
takes
them
that
all
catch,
out and
it's a
if we
different game.
batted yesterday, if we had 250 on board to chase, I feel we could have won. Then
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
well within the game, well within a result. It's just the fact that they held on, they didn't add much, but whatever they added made a difference. That extra 50 runs made a lot of difference for
Yeah, yeah,
us,
yeah,
I
bro.
feel.
Today it was very tough. Like there was is
Like
almost
even
like
at the
it was
start, it was like
80-20 or
4.5
something.
and over.
Yeah, it was way too much. Like today, I mean, especially with the way the ball was swinging in the first session, no chance. But
And
yeah,
like, yeah, look, I
hmm,
was saying like if we don't see repercussions, then there's no point. Like this collapse, this kind of suicide bombing has to have some repercussions. Like batsmen, like heads need to be rolled. I'm sorry, but we can't wait till the end of the series because we still have something to play for. If everything was out, if WTC is out of the scenario, if like if there was no chance of us retaining the BGT also, then fine, makes sense. Like, you know what, you might as well give them a final stretch, whatever. But we still have a lot to play for. We win the last test, we still retain the BGT. We still have a fighting chance for because Sri Lanka again, that Gaul test, you never know what is going to happen. Gaul always produces
yeah,
something on
that's true.
it's a huge venue, so you can never say for sure. You can never be conclusive. So
But you know the
we still
only thing with Rishi, the only thing with Sri Lanka is you will get results in all the games. So that is
yeah,
like you will
exactly,
not see draws.
exactly.
what if it's a
Like
1-all for Australia? Then what happens in the
They
Sri
win and
Lanka?
they're through.
if
They
Australia
win
wins
one
one
Anyway,
more test after like if
after
Australia
the
wins
BGT.
in the next three, if Australia win one more, they're through.
and what about if they draw all three?
One more. Sorry. Yeah.
What happens if they draw all three?
No, then we only haven't won. No,
Oh
then
no! What
We
happens?
haven't.
What happens if we win next game and then Australia draw the next two? Then
no,
what
no, no. They
happens?
have
It
to
doesn't.
lose one at least.
Then we are this one. They
That's
have
why
to they have to win.
So they have to lose one, right? That's
they
basically
have
the
to lose.
scenario.
They have to lose two at least.
They have to
They,
not
they have
win
to lose
basically.
one and basically not win one. Basically,
Yeah, yeah, basically. Yeah. So
in the Sri Lanka Test series, if they draw one game and lose, they're out.
yeah,
Or what
Yeah,
happens
yeah,
if
they
they
have.
draw both
they're out.
games?
They lose 1-0, they're out.
But what if the so if for example the next game India win, go to
Yeah.
Sri Lanka, both the Test series. If for example we draw both of them, what happens then? Who's through to the
Australia
finals?
through.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's just what it looks like. At the moment of India,
Bro, if
I
like
don't know, man. Let's see. Let's go to Sydney and we'll see then.
bro,
Thanks
if you're
everyone.
not gonna get in a few batters, like if you're not gonna get Gillen, if you're not gonna get IMO, if just play Jurel, then what is the point? Like just don't even bother bowling Bumrah, like because Bumrah's bowling his heart out. He's putting his body across the line for what are the same batsmen to bottle it every single time. Like if you want efforts from everyone, you need to play people like players who are showing some efforts.
Hmm. Yep.
But they have to
That,
win, no? Anyways, they'll have to
they
play
have to win.
Bumrah.
There's no there. You have to win the
So,
game.
bro, actually, to be fair, one question I would like to ask Rishi: what if like who do you want the next Indian Test captain to be?
Bro, it has to be someone who will be there for
No,
a
who do
while.
you
Like
want? My question is simple: which
Bumrah,
player do
Bumrah's
you
right
want?
there.
Exactly. Now, like, what is the scenario when Bumrah is a Test captain? You can't drop him from the Test team for rest, right, or load management. Then what
No,
do
no,
we do then?
I'm not asking him to. I'm saying if we don't if we don't remove the batsmen, like the senior so-called senior players who aren't giving two shits about the team, like they are in
No,
their
that's
own
we
world.
know that's not going to happen. Like, I think we are past that point, like from a very long time. I think like next Test match, like it's going to be the same team. Like the only
Bro,
difference is will Gill play or not. Like,
why is it so callous? Why is it so okay? We're gonna see after this.
Rishi, do
Why
you
are we not
think
letting
like
go?
it's because the management, the BCCI are not going to do anything about it, right? Like at the end of the day, Rohit Sharma, it doesn't make Rohit Sharma to say no. Like if he's a captain, if I was a captain, you always give a fighting chance to yourself. You always back yourself. So it comes down to the BCCI. It comes down to the guys there, like selectors
Correct.
like
The
Ajit
selection
Agarkar,
and
whoever it is.
management, they like
You
again.
can't.
Reports said that Ajit Agarkar flew all the way to Australia to have a talk. Okay, so have the talk. Like, do something productive. Like, you still have time. Because, bro, to be fair, MS Dhoni was some 12 tests short of
See, the thing with MS Dhoni, it was a personal choice. That's the difference. Like, it was a personal choice. That's why he
he
did it in the
knew
middle of the
when
test.
it was the time to move, like
He
time to
knew,
move on.
that's my point. But you can't expect everyone to be like the way he took. That's my point. Like, if it's Rohit Sharma, I would still respect the fact that he's trying to back himself to do it. I wouldn't say that's a right or wrong decision. But if I'm in that position and I feel like I can do it, you do it. And he feels like he can do it. Maybe
Yeah.
he's being wrong. Maybe he's thinking optimistically. But like the point comes is if he thinks he can do it, it's not his decision. It's up to the
No,
BCCI. It's up to like
I think it's down to the management at the end of the day, bro. If your player
like
is not
even
performing, he's a player
yeah
who's not performing.
See, he's
like
again, he's 37, 38. Like, let's be real, he's not gonna have a major upturn in form. Okay, like his pretty much his senior career in Test looks down and out. There's been no significant sign for a while now that he is going to get his form back. He's going to be a quality batsman. We have others waiting in this table. We have other potential captain material also. Like, it's not like he's being a good captain where he is making proactive choices where we can make a case for him that, okay, if he's not contributing with his bat, his captaincy is showing signs. He is setting up fields. He is, bro, because you see how Cummins set up field for Nathan Lyon to bowl. Like, there were fielders for tailenders all around. And then you see how when Jadeja was bowling to Boland and Lyon, like everyone were at the boundary line. Like, what sort of field, like what sort of message is that sending them?
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah, I think in general we're very defensive we are. But
yeah,
anyways,
like
but
when it
again,
comes
that's my
to
point. Like
we have
you
a
can't expect. Yeah.
like
Tell me,
yeah,
go
I was
ahead.
just saying
I,
if we have an option for like if we have a case to build for Rohit Sharma, okay, then it makes sense. If there is no case, like
But
is there captaincy?
hmm,
No. There's batting? No. So on what basis are you keeping him? And
that
and
is
and
that's the point,
if
right?
if we can pull a result out, if we can get a result out from the Sydney test, then I think then there's no question that okay, it all makes sense. Even if we don't, we can say okay, we just wanted like we had a fighting chance. This is why we did it, and going forward, this is the direction that we are going in. I don't think anyone can fault the management for saying okay, Roach, like it was too harsh that we took Rohit Sharma out. Like no,
that's
like
true.
we've given him enough time. No,
That's
I'll
true.
I'll give you one more thing. I just a question to throw out. Like this is not the first game Rohit Sharma has been the captain. He's been the captain for like what 2 years in Tests also. And there's a stat that says under Dravid in Test matches, he had won 19 games and lost one game, and that one game was to England, I think, in the beginning of this year's series.
the
And
domestic,
sorry,
the
the
domestic
domestic
series.
test, yeah. Yeah, and since Gambhir has come, the what had under Rohit Sharma, he's yet to win a test series, which is not Bangladesh. Like test game, not even series, to be honest.
And
But
for like an opponent, yeah.
and also, to be fair, you go back what 6 months ago, India were T20 champions, and then there's been a change of coach, and since then I don't know what is the things behind the scene. I don't know anything. I'm just playing devil's advocate, but it's the same Rohit Sharma. It's the same. Entire team is the same. Like there is no difference between even the team that was playing against England versus now. Like the same Rohit Sharma 6 months ago. I don't think anyone had a problem with him being the Test captain. If I'm really honest, when we won 4-1 against England, no one batted an eye. Against Bangladesh, no one batted an eye.
No,
And then
Bangladesh, we almost did. That's the thing. Ashwin and
bro,
Jadeja like pulled us out of a trouble. Like that,
no,
those were
but
the
the
signs.
second test, after the second test, I'm sorry to say, but there were literally articles saying this is the greatest thing in Test cricket ever.
Oh
Blah
yeah, yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah. Like a lot of stuff was written, and then literally 6 Test games after, we're all like, he's not supposed to be playing. Like,
No,
does
but
it
the
come
truth
down
of
to
the
only
fact,
Rohit Sharma?
no, but like the truth of the fact is in this argument that Rohit Sharma did not captain India away from home, like in the tough countries. So England, for example, Australia, we didn't go, and we went to
No, yeah,
South
this is
Africa.
his first test outside India, right? Apart from what
So that's
the
why
rest.
that's the whole thing, right? Like that's so, bro. Like if you go and listen to like Saurav Ganguly, like
But
the
Rahul, but
commentary
my
he gives,
point is,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but my point is, it was not Australia. It was literally in India against New Zealand. That's
Yeah,
where
so that
everyone
makes
was
it even worse. So that makes it even worse.
exactly.
And
What I'm trying to say
at
is,
But
home
my
he has
point is,
not
for example,
like yeah. Like I'll just put it in this perspective. At home, he has not done anything that his predecessors didn't do. At home, we
Rishi,
always believed.
exactly. That's my exact point. My point is, in the beginning of the year, it was comfortable wins. Everyone was playing the same. I mean, not same style, but like in terms of batting, everyone was there. Like KL Rahul against England, KL Rahul played well. Jurel played well. Sarfaraz Khan played well. Gill also played well. He had a couple of centuries and 90, etc. Like, it's the same team. It's the same captain. It's the same player. And that's, as you guys saying, everyone does it. Like everyone does the same thing. It's nothing new for India to win a test match at home. And it's not the first test series. He also captained against Australia last year, and he's played like top teams in India, right? What changed in those, what, at least this entire year, like 6 months after, like
No,
Gambhir
see,
came, like that's what I'm just trying to like say. That's the thing,
I
like,
think it's this. Okay, so like literally, I'm going back to what Ganguly has said. Like, so the Ganguly says that you are not tested as a captain in India ever. Like you only get tested when you go away from home. Now Rohit Sharma's case, fine. Like you've not gone away from home. You've beaten all these sides in India and you've lost to New Zealand. Like something has changed. What has changed? I think when you're looking at it from a home perspective, you're looking at it. Okay, like you lost Pujara and Rahane, which I think played a huge part, like in the whole New Zealand debacle and all of that. But when you start losing, you start, I think, looking at things that are going wrong. Like that's when you really start seeing, oh, actually, you know what? Like they're not that energetic in the field. Oh, actually, you know what? The captain is not that proactive. Until then, you don't really care. Like when you're winning, like who nobody sees these
yeah,
things.
you don't see the cracks. I agree.
Yeah, nobody sees them. Like nobody cares about them. But once you start losing, like you really look at it, and I think that's the truth. Like I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that today Rohit Sharma's captaincy like is not the same energy level. I think yesterday was the first day that I saw India good on the field. Like who that again? I think it was led by Virat Kohli. Like because it was him who said. I think he decided, looked at himself and said, "Dude, like if I don't carry this fielding team forward, if I don't carry the energy, we are going to go flat." And he kept the spirits high throughout the fielding sort of across sessions. It was not just the first 10 overs or anything from him. I think there's a big difference, bro. Like, and it has been there, so it is what
Like
it is.
to add to what Rahul said, like traditionally, this is not the first time. Like since a long time, like Indian captains, like I completely agree in the sense that Indian captains are like almost never tested when it comes to domestic games, as is the case with a lot of teams. Like I feel Australia have been an imperious side. I feel England also, like in England they are the most comfortable. But it's just that
Yeah,
in India the work is cut out to such an extent. Like under Ganguly, like even under Sachin, whoever it is, like especially under Ganguly, under Dravid, when there was Harbhajan Singh and Anil Kumble was bowling, like this is what from Ganguly's words, that it was never like he didn't have to do much. Like Harbhajan and Anil Kumble, they had their own field sets. They'd set their field on their own. They'd bowl from both the ends. I feel that applies to a huge extent. That applies to Ashwin and Jadeja as well. Like
yeah,
like you can. It's like also almost like putting your car in cruise control mode. Like you're gonna like okay, once the shine is over, once 10 overs are done, you give it to Ashwin from one end. You give it to Jadeja from one end. Like our pitches are conditioned such that we are gonna get moderate turn, and these two are probably two of the greatest spinners like in the test game, like in the modern test game. So that is taken care of. I think it's when you go away from home that you need meticulous planning. If you're just looking to avoid defeat, that is one thing. But if you want to win games, you need planning to a large extent. I feel that is where someone like Cummins shows up, because the level of planning he does for every batter, the level of the kind of fields that he sets for every batter is different. And it's just not just test. Like in every format, his attention to detail is very good. You don't need that much attention to detail at home, but he still does it. And I feel that is what is missing, like at least when like for Rohit Sharma, because his attitude is the same. The planning is not this, like the planning is non-existent. Like what is the strategy that you want Smith to get out? Because when Smith and Labuschagne were batting, like one thing I saw is for Labuschagne there was leg slip. When it was Smith who walks around, when he tries to play it around, like Smith literally edged a couple of them, which went down for fours. And I was like, where is the leg slip? Why do you have leg slip for Marnus Labuschagne but not for Smith? Like it's all these little
Mhm.
things. Like it may not be a significant thing, but all these little things add up and give you a cumulative result. I feel that is one place where it eventually, like, leads you to.
Yep, yep. Well, that's just where we stand, guys. I think spoken for over an hour. Um, Sydney, just one game left. India hopefully turn up and win that game and retain the Border-Gavaskar Trophy and give themselves a chance of qualifying for the WTC final, although it's unlikely. But you never know in Sri Lanka. New Zealand have gone there and found out how hard it is. So in recent times, and it's not an easy place to go to. So let's see what happens. But thanks everyone for watching. Please like and share the videos, subscribe to Sports Kabri, and we'll see you soon. Have a happy New Year.